This conference will now be recorded.
Your mics are hot. Stand by. 5 seconds. You're live.
Good evening, everyone. This is the January 10th, 2024 meeting excuse me, of the Auburn Conservation Commission. This meeting is being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. Excuse me. The public can join the meeting remotely by dialing 1-408-650-3123 and then using access code 942-845-549. Or you can join via computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. All supporting materials for tonight's meeting have been provided to the commissioners, and they're also available on our website. The public is encouraged to follow along using our posted agenda. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the Conservation Commission, and before we begin, let me confirm that our members are present and will be participating. Tom Fallon.
Present.
Michelle Colross.
Present.
Megan Langley.
Present.
And Jesse Averka.
Present.
All right, please note that this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. And for those of you that are participating remotely this evening, when I call on you, please state your name and your address as if you were attending in person. And so without further ado, the first item on our agenda is a 7 p.m. public hearing. Crocker Design Group, notice of intent for a property located at 735 Southbridge Street. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. All right. Mr. Newhall.
Hi, how we doing tonight?
Very good.
For the record, David Newhall of Crocker Design Group.
All right. And you're here to present the notice of intent for the project at 735 Southbridge Street.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Also on with me tonight. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, no, we had an opportunity to actually visit the site on Saturday. I didn't mean to cut you off. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. Awesome. That's great. So yeah, on with me tonight is Todd McDonald of Crocker Design Group as well. I don't know if the permitting attorney, Chris Mingus, is on. He had another hearing tonight, so he might try to join if he's able to later, but he... I'm
on by telephone.
Oh, perfect. There he is. So he's also on, and John Welch from the Herb Chambers Company was unable to join us tonight. He also had a conflict, so it seemed like tonight was the night of a bunch of different hearings for everybody. So
Understood.
we got myself, Todd, and then Chris on the phone. So with that, let's see if I'm able to share my screen. It doesn't say I have the ability to share my screen. I don't know if it's easier for me to share so I can talk through the plans or.
I think you should be able to now, Dave. Hopefully. I made you
All right.
the presenter, so hopefully there's some way to do it.
Let's see. So, do you see the plan up?
There it is.
All right, perfect. All right, so just to start us off, we've been here a couple different times for some smaller modifications to the property, a couple of RDA applications. Now we've filed a notice of intent for the reconfiguration of the parking area towards the southern portion of the site. We've also filed a major land disturbance permit with the Auburn DPW. We've received initial feedback from the town engineering department on our stormwater application package and our report. A few minor comments that we've been able to address. We haven't submitted an updated application yet to them, as we wanted to also include any modifications that might be needed based off the feedback we get from the commission here tonight. And then we'll also be filing, we haven't filed yet, but we will be filing with the planning board for site plan review as well. But again, for step one, we wanted to get engineering feedback on our stormwater application, and then also get the Concom's feedback as well. So as we know, we have in blue is the limit of the bordering vegetated wetland. And then in orange here is the limits of the Zone A for the FEMA flood zone. As you can see, this Zone A is graphically mapped as it does not have an associated elevation. So portions of the existing improvements are within that Zone A. All of our improvements, as you'll see when I get into the next slide, are to the south and to the west and outside of the Zone A that is mapped on the site. But also, as you can see, we've graphically plotted, there's an intermittent stream on the property that's contained within the bordering vegetated wetlands. As the site sits today, it's the existing Herb Chambers Hyundai of Auburn dealership, and it has associated parking to go along with some stormwater features on site. Mostly are just catch basins throughout the site. I'm going to zoom in now to highlight kind of focus is going to be on the back area here, as we're not doing any work out front as part of this application. So as you can see, we have a few different catch basins. Got a double catch basin here, single catch basin, double catch basin, double catch basin throughout the parking area. All of this stormwater is then conveyed to the BVW to the east. There's no on-site infiltration or detention. This area is highlighted as a drainage basin on our plan. Acts more almost like a conveyance swale for stormwater. We believe we didn't have most of it then goes through this drainage pipe north and then east to bordering vegetated wetlands. There's a few other pipes that we saw coming in, but no record plan showed where they were coming from or what they might be conveying. And then also in green, we have shown the 100-foot buffer to the bordering vegetated wetlands. And as you can see, we have the existing site entrance off of Washington Street for this southern portion, and existing drive aisle that's within the buffer and also within the 50 feet to the bordering vegetated wetlands as it exists today. And then, as you can see, there's the associated parking with that. So I flip to this next page. Sorry, let me zoom out here just a little bit. So the main thing we wanted to focus on to start is the proposed layout. We're keeping the entrance drive off of Washington Street in the existing location. We're not proposing any modifications to that existing drive. And then the other main thing is this existing limit of curbing that we have on site is going to remain as is. We will be we've proposed a continuous silt sock in addition to a wired back silt fence on the back side of this curbing to make sure that no sediment travels towards the BVW that's located to the east. Sorry. And then as you can see here, just a reconfigured, modernized parking area to kind of maximize this space and give the Herb Chambers Hyundai dealership better circulation and more parking. And then also we've shown that the associated landscaping here graphically to go with this. The main improvements of this project are with the upgrades to the stormwater structures on site. With this reworked parking area, we have an increase in impervious area on site. Most of that increase occurs outside of the 100-foot buffer to the BVW, but all of the stormwater as it is today is conveyed to the BVW to the east. There are 3 existing outfalls from stormwater on site. So we have 1, 2, and 3. The goal of our stormwater proposal is to improve the quality of water that is conveyed through these outfalls, reduce the rate, and also infiltrate the volume of the added impervious surface being proposed as part of this project. We do that through two different subsurface infiltration systems. So we have a larger system here and then a smaller system here. So the first system, located outside the 100-foot buffer here, takes stormwater from this catch basin and this catch basin, which pretty much encompasses most of this area I'm highlighting here with my cursor. This water goes from the catch basins. We have 2 water quality units currently. We don't have any water quality units on site, so we have 2 water quality units as part of this treatment train, 1 and 2. These CDS water quality units will help to remove TSS from the pavement that's on site. This water will then be conveyed to the subsurface infiltration system and then out through this existing drainage pipe outfall to the BVW here to the east. The second infiltration system, this larger system, takes stormwater from this double catch basin and then these 2 single catch basins. So this encompasses kind of most of this area being highlighted here. This water, we have another CDS treatment unit here and here that provide improvements to the water quality on site, goes to our infiltration system here, and then outfalls and heads towards the BVW. Additionally, we have an existing double catch basin here, 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 and then an existing single catch basin that will remain. We will also have a proposed double catch basin here and here to capture the rest of the stormwater in this area, and then they will all flow to a CDS unit before outfalling to the bordering vegetative wetlands. So water that's currently being conveyed to that wetland that only has the deep sump hooded catch basins on site today will then go to the water quality units and then discharge to the bordering vegetative wetlands. And then this double catch basin here is to remain as is, and no changes are proposed to that. I think with that, probably best to turn it over for questions. I don't know if you want me to keep sharing my screen or kind of pull this off, however best to do.
I have questions.
Just let me know.
All right, I have an initial question. Does this project increase the impervious area at the site?
Yes, it does.
By how much?
Todd, do you know how much the increase in impervious is?
Yeah, I can find it real quick in the report.
Okay. And
Sorry about that.
how much fill are you bringing into the site?
We would actually be doing a cut on site. As you can see, in this area, we have the 650 contour. We're proposing a 649. So in this area, there'd be a cut, and then there's a fill here. So it's pretty much kind of a balanced area here. But this upper section here is where we see the majority of the cut for material. So we have a 653 going down to a 645. So there would be a net cut on the site.
Okay, and you're gonna just remove that material from the site?
Yes. I mean, we'll maximize the reuse of material on site as possible, but given the proposed grading and changes, there will be an export, and that material will be taken off site and brought to the appropriate facility.
Okay.
I have a question. Are there still now? It sounds like most of the water is being diverted to treatment units. Is there still water being diverted to the wetland that's not going through a treatment unit anywhere?
I believe we just have this one double catch basin here. Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the only one that just was an existing double catch basin that was to remain as is.
Correct, yes.
Did you inspect it?
Myself didn't physically inspect this catch basin.
I just wonder, I mean,
No.
it's sort of been an ongoing problem with the town that catch basins over time tend to get silted in. I'm just wondering
Okay.
if that's being able to adequately convey, water into the wetlands, or what the condition is of that catch basin. And if if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, I typically, as when we call for these items to remain on a plan, we then call for the contractor to make sure that all of them are cleaned and left as if they were newly installed with no sediment in them. If they haven't been maintained or sediment is got in them through construction, we call for them to be cleaned. We also make sure that they get inspected at the beginning of construction too, contractor, when they kind of are able to, when they're on site and they start pulling up maybe some of the pavement around there, and it's easier to kind of see in and see the condition of that, then it could kind of be brought to our attention and then be replaced if needed, or left as is if appropriate.
What kind of maintenance schedule are you proposing?
For the catch basins, we are proposing quarterly maintenance of them, so at least 4 times a year on a quarterly basis to go out to the on-site facilities manager will be tasked with checking all of the catch basins to make sure the sediment buildup hasn't become a problem, and if it reaches a certain threshold, then they would call in the appropriate company that comes in and backs out the sediment from the catch basins on site.
Okay. I have no other questions. Michelle,
So-
do you have any others?
Yeah. So what was the storm? So when you guys did the new building, right? You did a new building just a little while ago, right? This was a new system that you put in a little while ago, wasn't it?
No, I think
I don't
This wasn't
believe
this one?
so.
It wasn't? No? Okay. All right. So what was the old system that you had before this new system is going in? And I'd like, how much of an increase is this going to be, and how is it going to help the environment a lot? Like this 80% increase it's saying, or it's going to catch 80% of the wastewater. Is this a substantial increase to help the environment? Is this?
Yeah, so this is an improvement over the existing conditions on the quality of the water going towards the wetlands, and then also the rate in which this water is being conveyed to the wetlands. So I've just pulled back up our existing conditions plan. So I'm going to zoom into this lower section first. So there's this area here that's labeled the drainage basin, where basically this only takes water from the wooded area in here, and then kind of the grassed area gets conveyed to this basin area. There's then a catch basin located within this basin that then conveys water directly to another catch basin here, and then to this drainage manhole here, and then this water then flows to BVW to the east. Also part of this drainage area is this catch basin that captures most of the water here. Likely some of this water might end up going into the detention basin in the front, but captures all the water from the paved area, some of this water here from the adjacent property maybe as well, and then this conveys towards the BVW. There was another pipe coming in that I don't know if it was from a abandoned catch basin or whatnot, so we don't believe there's anything over here. We didn't see anything on site that said that this was taking any of the water, so we believe this is to be abandoned. So the catch basins on site today, they provide a 25% removal of TSS. So when we propose the water quality units, the CDS units, they remove TSS for 80% of the total suspended solids within the water, in addition to the catch basins that also provide that removal. So it's the catch basins plus the CDS units, and then also we have the 2 infiltration systems, and then the one that would go in this area is to capture and infiltrate into the ground the storm water for that added impervious area, And then also, those systems allow for the TSS to have some removal where it gets trapped into that infiltration system, so that it greatly reduces the amounts of total suspended solids in the stormwater within this outfall. Then there is this existing catch basin here, an existing catch basin here that mostly captures the water for this drive aisle, pretty much coming down this way, captures some of this water as it heads here, and then captures some of the water that gets past and heads towards this way. And then that, again, the catch basins only get the 25% removal, heads to BVW. And then we have our third outfall here that, again, only has a treatment train of catch basins getting that 25% removal. And we would be proposing where this drainage manhole is here to put a CDS water quality unit to get to that 80% required TSS removal. So again, an improvement to the quality of water heading towards the BVW. As we highlighted, we also had a second larger infiltration system as well that to decrease the volume in which water heads towards this wetland, so it wouldn't be as much water. The water would be heading at a slower rate, and then also would be an improvement in quality towards the wetland.
Okay.
What's the symbol on the map for the water quality unit?
I believe we just it has the same has the same D symbol. I don't think we have the label on this plan. Let me just
Is it the D with the circle around it?
What do the triangle?
that's
So,
not
yeah,
all of them. There's a
If you have the site plans, they're specifically labeled on the grading and drainage sheet, but they'll have the
Not
appearance as regular drain manholes. So there's no difference in how they look from the drain manholes, but the label is different.
yeah. So let me. Sorry, I should have had this up.
Any other questions? So just a very quick question. The detention basin located adjacent to Route 20, there are no changes proposed for that, is that correct?
I think it's a D with the triangle.
Are you talking this catch basin here?
Correct. Well, I think you referred to
Yeah.
it as a drainage
This is
swale,
three.
perhaps. Maybe I.
Yeah. Conveyance. Yeah, it says conveyance swale on this one. I'm sorry,
That's
but
right.
yeah, it's more of a conveyance swale. The other plan said drainage basin. Sorry for that.
Okay, so
Discrepancy.
There are no changes proposed to that, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's just staying as is, and then let's see, and then this would be, here is the water quality, one of the water quality units. So water conveys here, then another water quality unit here.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? Any questions from anyone that is online? Now, we understand that DEP has not issued a file number yet for this, unfortunately. But it also sounds
Okay.
like you're still in the permitting process anyway, so.
Yeah, so we apologize. I don't know. We submitted hard copies to DEP. They came back to us, said submit electronically. We submitted to their electronic email. We've reached out a couple times. We haven't heard back from them, so I don't know what's going on in their system. So we'll get to the bottom of that. And then, like you said, we do have a couple other permitting hurdles to get through. So
Okay.
really, we were thinking we were probably going to be continuing tonight anyway, but we just wanted to maximize the amount of feedback that we could get tonight.
Sure, that's fine. So obviously, you don't have an objection to continuing this to our next meeting on January 24th?
No, we do not.
Okay. Jesse, do we have anything scheduled for the 24th?
No, we do not as of yet, so
All right.
that'd be the 7 o'clock.
So in that case, is there a motion to continue the public hearing for 735 Southbridge Street to January 24th at 7 p.m.?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. All right, we will see you in 2 weeks at 7 PM.
Great. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time tonight.
All right, thank you. Okay. The next item on our agenda is the 7:05 public hearing. Notice of intent for property at 4 Winchester Avenue. Is there a motion to open?
I recuse myself. I live diagonally from the applicant.
Okay. In any event, is there a motion to open?
I'll move to open.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. And Mr. Fallon has recused himself. Good evening.
Good evening.
And who are you, sir?
I'm Patrick Perkins from JEP Contracting.
Please have a seat. And I believe Ms. Nguyen is available online too.
She is, yes.
So tell us about your project.
So we are basically going to remodel the existing home and bump out the back of it a little bit, 6 feet, and add a second floor. We just happen to fall into the 100-foot buffer. We're not any really, we're within 70-something feet of it. We're gonna, the plan is to protect because of the slope, protect the neighbor's property to the right or left, standing at the street. Connect the whole area. But it's pretty straightforward as far as digging goes. It's a split level home today, and it's going to basically remain a split level, but with a second floor. And so the dig depth is not, it's like frost wall depth.
Okay. Have you actually measured well, actually you did. It looks like you prepared a plan showing that the distance between the head wall and the corner of the house at its
73?
closest point is 73 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of funny, it's a pipe underneath there.
This property here, is that, is there a home there, or is this vacant property?
No, there's a home there.
There is. Okay,
The head wall is in their backyard, basically.
understood. Okay, they were given notice of this?
Yes. I interestingly enough, I have, we got the abutters list and we sent it out.
Right.
There was 10 abutters. I don't know if the mail is not the mail that it used to be, but I only received 2 cards back, although I went online and with the tracking number, 5 out of the 10 were delivered. All 10 had been attempted to be delivered.
Right.
So I have that information, and the information that we did send it out on December 28th.
Can you tell me if the owner of 2 Winchester Avenue, which I believe is the adjacent property where the head wall is located, did they, you get a return receipt or a card from them?
I believe I did. Let me just double check. I did not.
Ah,
So let me just see if,
do you have their name, by the way?
I do. Alan Doucette.
Okay.
Let me just see if, which one of these receipts from the post office aren't, it actually doesn't, yeah, so it actually doesn't, let's see what the tracking number is. 23. Yeah, so that was attempted to be delivered as of 5:18 p.m. on December 30th. The item was available for redelivery or pickup.
December 30th?
December 30th, yeah.
Okay.
And it was never picked up or never redelivered.
Okay, so we're not certain that they received notice then?
I have no way of knowing that,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
That's my only concern, sir. I just don't want a situation where we close the public hearing and then we find out after the fact that the butter on whose property this, this head wall is located, claims they didn't get notice of your project. So that's kind of that's a problem, I think, at least for my concern.
so knock on the door, because I mean, if they tried to deliver it via mail,
Well, I think if you leave it for them, in person, or knock on the door, or leave it in their mailbox, then you can,
He's not allowed to leave it in their mailbox. He would have, and I'd have to get it signed showing that he actually delivered it, right?
yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of these, I've only ever done, that's why I thought this was awful odd, that I didn't get, and then I went in to look at the tracking, and I was like, so I'm not really sure, I don't recall,
Okay.
what the process is when the post office delivers the, attempts to deliver it.
Sure.
They leave a note that you have a certified, right? Because 2 people went to the post office and actually picked it up. That's what it said on the tracking, if you will. So I'm assuming they got notified left it there, but they chose not to go pick it up?
Sir, your guess is as good as mine, and I can't speculate because I simply don't know. Again, I'm just concerned, I think notice is important, as you.
No,
for
I
various
understand.
reasons,
No, I understand, I get that, yeah.
So, I think what you could do very simply is you could even tape it to their front door or something like that.
Then how does he prove that they got it?
He says well, you
Take
could,
a picture of him
I
taping it
mean,
to the front door.
I could tell you how a court would do it, or how a lawyer would do it.
Well, I know how I do it when I'm serving a tenant. So
Ah,
I know
You
how
could
to do it
So
then.
you could do an affidavit for us.
Sure, absolutely, but, I mean, I didn't think that was necessary, I mean, that's what
No,
I thought.
I understand.
Again, I thought it was odd that even some of the ones that did sign, but I never actually received the card back, which I thought was kind of strange.
And what may also happen is that, tomorrow you might get it back, or sometime next week.
Right.
So, look, I'd rather err on the side of caution here. I'd rather continue the public hearing for 2 weeks to see so that we know that the abutter did get notice. I'd rather err on the side of caution here.
So I can try to see if I can catch them at home and then have them sign something?
Or give us an affidavit saying that you actually delivered a copy of, of your request for determination of applicability to the home.
What about all the other ones? Are you only
No,
concerned about the neighbor, that neighbor?
I'm concerned about the neighbor because I think they're an abutter. They're right next to the
Right.
proposed work is being done.
Right,
So that,
right.
From my point of view, that would be the person I'm most concerned with.
Okay.
Okay? Is there anyone in the audience that has an interest in this?
I do.
Hi, can you state your name and your address, please?
My name is Kara Westerman, 6 Winchester Ave.
Okay, so you're on the other side of the.
I am, and I have an equal interest as well as the other people.
Okay. Well, on behalf, okay. So, sir, do you have any other remarks to make, Mr. Perkins, about this project?
I don't think so. no.
Okay. So, please stand up and would you tell us what your concerns are?
Sure, where do you want me to stand?
You can come up front.
Come up, yeah.
It's here good, or do you want me to?
You can come up a little closer.
You can go have a seat if you
Sorry,
want
we
to,
don't bite.
wherever you want.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
So I have several concerns. One being that there's an external pipe outside of the garage. I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Supposed to, yes.
It's a noxious odor that comes from there.
So the new structure will be.
So let me finish.
Yeah.
So there's a noxious odor that comes from there, from the external pipe that's facing down to the ground.
Okay.
This has been, I've sent letters to Board of Health as well as neighbors in the area. The smell, the pipe that comes down to the ground goes into my cellar.
Okay.
The smell seeps into the cellar. My animals, when they go out and come back in, smell like this. I have a huge concern what type of pellets, so to speak, are being burned. I question that. Because the odor is like a toxic smell. Several people in the area, in the vicinity, have smelt this, and I'm wondering how good it is to inhale this, if it's carcinogenic, what types of pellets are being burned with this.
So just so I'm clear, you're talking about like pellets used like for a wood stove? Or as a heating
He's saying it's
source?
pellets. It's a heating source. I don't know what is being burned in the garage.
Okay,
It's pellets.
okay.
It's a secondary source.
Well, all right, so to follow up, when you say you've notified the Board of Health?
Yeah.
Have they done anything?
I don't think that they've been out yet.
Okay, did they say they would be going out?
They would be.
Okay,
To look at this, because it's a nuisance. My animals smell like this.
okay,
I've had to go in the house when I'm outside because I've gotten a headache from it. I know what pellets smell like, and it's concerning. I think that, I don't know, I really think it's a DEP issue. I mean, the smell is like a
Well-
bad burning plastic.
well, ma'am, I don't know.
I
That's
don't
why I'm
know
asking.
either, and that's why I'm bringing it
So-
to the table for concern. I'm still not done. You're interrupting me. So my concern is where the pipe is coming from, that it's directly facing the ground. And I'm wondering if that's even appropriate. It's very low to the ground.
So the pipe comes out of the side of the garage?
Correct.
And it points downward or just out from the garage?
Out and down.
Okay, all right, okay. I mean, I think the Board of Health can address that issue, you know, and frankly, I think they're probably in a better position than we are
Correct.
to look at that, and then if they have any comments or observations, they can certainly pass those on to us.
My other concern that's directly related to this committee
Mhm.
is the water table that is in the backyard, which, when you mentioned to your point about the other neighbor being notified, there is a brook that runs through that, that area,
Right.
and renovation, disturbance to the land is concerning to me, because there's already pooling in my backyard of water. So I don't know if that's gonna add to the water. There's neighbors that pump water out of their homes right now. So I don't know how that's going to.
Is that because of a high water table in the area? Okay,
Correct.
okay, all right. Well, as I indicated, I feel compelled to continue the hearing anyway, because I want to make sure that Mr. Dussek has gotten notice. In addition, it seems to me that with any luck, the Board of Health will actually be able to go out and make an inspection and make a determination on when that, if it's a pellet stove or whatever it is, if that is, you know, is legal, if you want to use
Yep.
that term.
I would.
And in terms of a water table, I mean, that's really beyond our purview. We don't have, there's nothing that we can do. If it's a high water table, you
Wouldn't
know,
that cause flooding and disrupt the land?
well, it may, but we are kind of, we are rather restricted in terms of what we can do. We can certainly make sure that any improvement to this house doesn't make the problem any worse, you know? But in any, so those are just my observations. We haven't been out to the property. We certainly can take a look, and we will take a look before, you know, I think any action is taken on this,
Okay.
so.
Can I?
Yeah, please.
Can I just, so understand the new construction of the home, it's gonna meet all of today's, energy codes, right? So what that means is no pellet stove, all electric. Everything is gonna be heat pumps. So there will be no pellet stove when this house is remodeled. It's just gonna be all heat pumps, it's gonna be hot, you know, very nice insulation, the whole 9 yards. And regarding, and I know the building inspector did go out, you must have called the building inspector as well, Commissioner, to look at the pellet
I
stove?
don't need to disclose what I did or what I didn't do.
Oh, fair enough. So he went out, and it was permitted and it was installed correctly. That's what I was told. But nevertheless, it's gonna go away. So when we do this project, there will be no pellet stove.
But that doesn't stop the concern now that people are breathing in this odor.
I'm concerned about, I understand your concern. All I'm saying is that when we do this project, there will be no pellet stove. So it won't be a concern down the road.
Well, it is now.
Okay.
But what I would suggest is that let the Board of Health make a determination, okay? And then if they feel there's a need for further action, I'm sure
Yep.
they'll
Yeah.
take those types of steps. Is there any other comment from the audience on this? Okay, Mr. Perkins, you had something else
One
down?
last thing.
Sure.
So regarding the grading, so if you notice on the plan, there is a small retaining wall that's gonna be put in the back. And that is to actually help manage water that's coming off of number 2 Winchester that would be naturally flowing down to my client's property. So basically, it's, the concept is to be able to kind of manage some of that water flowing, if you will, and kind of push it farther toward the back. The water, you know, the wetlands or whatever, the culvert, they can't really, we don't know when that was ever put in, when we did the research, so that's, we don't even know where that goes, except for what it looks like it goes is across the street, someplace across the street. So we don't know,
But shouldn't that be part of the plot study?
it's been there so long that there is no information on where that is. There is on the map, shows something, but there's no actual facts to it, if you will. And if it goes under this house, then it's been there since, you know, whenever. And that's controlled, it's actually piped, is what they said.
If they're pumping water out of people's basements, like that is uncontrolled, so that is going.
This customer does not have, that basement is 100%
Yeah, but, I
finished.
mean, that's what I'm saying.
There is no water in this
There's no water
basement.
in hers, but if there's water in other people's basements that they're pumping randomly into possibly your yard or somebody else's yard, that is flowing into yours. Hopefully, if what you do could possibly help that with this wall, is that what you're saying?
That's the plan, to kind of like change the grading there a little bit, because right now, you know, the grading to number 2 is much higher in elevation, and it's all just kind of swoops down. And, you know, that's just the natural grade. So this wall is gonna help kind of push all that for us away from the building, and just kind of create more of a flatter kind of area versus
Versus a sheet.
That's correct. You saw it today, well, it's on the plan, but you saw it today, it's, you know, it just kind of flows that direction. And this current house has a completely finished basement, and the new house will have a completely finished basement.
Okay.
And there's not even a sub pump in this basement.
But there is across the street, there is next door, and there is the house
I-
down
I
from
don't
there.
But, I mean, my only point would be, it could be because of a high water table. It seems to me that if all these houses have to pump water out during storm events like we had yesterday or the day
Yeah.
before, that seems to be a different issue than anything having to do with the rebuild on this house. That's just my observation. But certainly, nothing that should be done in connection with 4 Winchester should make the situation worse.
I would hope not.
Well, no, I can
Well, what's
assure
the
you.
increase in, is there an increase in impervious because of this? Like how much?
I didn't do that math, I mean, we're, it's very small, 6 feet, we're bumping the back of the house out 6 feet by 34 feet. So,
And how deep are you going?
just a crawl space frost level, so 4 feet, 5 feet deep.
So in any event, as I indicated, we will not be closing the public hearing on this evening. So with your permission, Mr. Perkins, we'll continue this to our next meeting on January 24th at 7:05 p.m.
Unfortunately, I am going to be out of town that day.
Okay.
Although I guess in theory, I could have one of my associates sit in for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Also, you could, if you have the opportunity, you could also join us by Zoom or by GoToMeeting,
yeah, right, I could do that, yes.
if you wish.
Yeah, no, I
You
can
know,
do that.
The
yes.
alternative would be
If
to
you're
continue.
away though, don't do that.
I'm
Have
gonna be
way
in
too fun.
Mexico.
Have fun, don't
Yeah.
join us.
Get one of the
Have way
But I
too
have
many
an associate
do it.
that he's here on the meeting tonight anyway, so,
So that's agreeable to you?
that, yes. And then all I wanna do is make sure whatever I need to do to, provide, so you just want me to,
I want to make sure that you make service or can show that you've attempted to make service on the homeowner at 2 Winchester.
okay,
And then hopefully in the interim, someone from the Board of Health will actually go out and investigate the pellet issue.
okay,
Okay?
all right.
All right.
Okay.
Is there a motion to continue the public hearing?
I move to continue 4 Winchester Ave to January 24th at 7:05 p.m.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. All right. Thank you very much for attending, and we'll pick this up in 2 weeks.
Okay.
The next item on our agenda for this evening is a determination of applicability for 602 Southbridge Street. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. All right. Good evening. Who's going to present this? Would that be?
Good evening. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you fine, sir.
Great. If you want to give me the ability to share my screen, I could show you a couple of exhibits.
Yeah, you should be able to now, Jeff.
I got it, sir. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
For the record, my name is Jeff Board, professional engineer with Bowler Engineering, located at 65 LaSalle Road in West Hartford, Connecticut. Here on behalf of CEMS LLC for a project located at 602 Southbridge Street. So what you're seeing on screen right now is just an existing conditions aerial with the property line highlighted. There's an existing 5,000 square foot restaurant on the site. And you can see the majority of this site is paved. It's like 88% impervious coverage all the way to the corner. There's 3 curb cuts along Oxford Street North. And then we included this image here. I'll see if I can zoom in a bit. It just gives you an idea on this 88-foot dimension or 82-foot dimension from Dark Brook. It's situated across Southbridge Street, so it's across the state highway. It's down a little bit of a ravine, so the actual site itself, as you can see with the retaining wall here, it's up about 5 or 6 feet from the brook itself, which is down off the edge of the road here, if you guys are seeing my cursor here. What we're proposing here, and I'll just flip to my next sheet, is to raise the existing building. One of the benefits to this, and it's not often we get to say this, but we're reducing impervious coverage by about 33% on a 1 acre site. So it's about 0.4 acres of reduction in impervious surface. So just for clarification, on the previous exhibit, you see that curb line here. I highlighted that in red on this exhibit, so you really got an idea of all the green space that we're actually putting back on the site. In addition, in existing conditions, everything flows untreated right now to 2 existing catch basins in the parking lot before discharging directly into the street untreated. So the site that we're going to be coming forward with through the entitlement process, and why we're looking for that determination this evening, is going to significantly not only reduce impervious, but improve stormwater quality through all the implementations of the regulations for water quality calculations and devices. So we were just looking for that determination this evening. Ultimately, our next step would be to take this plan, which was a coffee shop with a drive-through component, through the design process, and then take it through the applicable jurisdictional agencies. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys may have at this point. Mind you, we're at the conceptual site planning level here, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Well, I think most of us are very familiar with the site.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, ate there when it was the Piccadilly Pub. Some of us may have eaten there when it was the Belly Pub. And so, the proposed new building is going to be a coffee shop?
Correct, with a drive-through.
Okay, all right.
And it's about 2,400 square feet, so it's about 3,000 square feet less than the existing building,
Right.
Which also helped to reduce that impervious.
Okay, and the reason you filed is because of Darkbrook located across the street?
It was really only the determination that we were within 100 feet of the brook over here, and the intent was to just show this exhibit and show we're really separated by the state highway and the elevation change, to just get a sense from you guys where you're landing on this.
Yeah, I understand, that's fair. Do you have any questions, Michelle?
None.
Questions, Megan or Tom?
Nope.
Any questions from the audience? Yes, sir. Can you state your name and your address?
Tom Blades, Wilson Way.
Okay,
I'm curious about traffic impact in the area,
okay, that's fair.
especially with the drive-through.
So, Mr. Board, has any traffic study been done?
So traffic study will be performed.
Sorry,
Can you guys
just
still?
so you know that that is really not within our jurisdiction or our purview.
Yeah,
But I
I'm
think it's a,
watching that now.
it's a,
Sorry.
no, it's a fair question though. I'm sorry, Mr. Board.
It's a completely valid point, and part of what we're gonna have to do here, given the location to the on and off ramp, is a pretty sophisticated traffic study. The applicant has already engaged a traffic consultant, to perform counts, and part of our future submission, along with, once we design the grading and drainage and utilities, will be a submission of a full-blown traffic study that not only has to get approved locally, it has to get approved at a DOT level as well. And I guess one of the good things was the closing of the two of the three existing things, but the volumes are what's important. And again, with this proximity, the DOT is going to look very closely at that, especially given the signalized intersection here as well. So it will be heavily scrutinized by not only the town, but state as well.
Any idea what the seating capacity is gonna be of this coffee shop?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I know they're not usually too large, and especially the 2,400 square foot building, but I do not have a number off the top of my head.
I understand. When do you think you're gonna be submitting this to the planning board?
I know there's been discussions with the end user. I feel like we're going to be off to the races on the design. Usually it's like 3 to 4 weeks for us to design something like this fully. So you're probably talking, if we're released early February, end of January, we're submitting for end of February, early March for, to start the entitlement process.
Understood.
Alright.
Any other questions?
Just for you.
Sure.
How would I stay in touch with this for the planning board for, and getting the report for the traffic?
Well, what I can tell you is that if you ever go to our, the town's website, you can just scroll over to the planning board, click on that, and then they have an agenda. You can also call the planning board, whoever their admin is. Who's their admin?
Really, it could be anyone. I mean, Adam runs the planning board, but everyone's phones will ring. So I mean, if you call, DDIS, that's the department that it's in, and you can get anyone.
And plus, they also they will publish notice of the public hearing, so there is, I think, several ways you can keep on top of it and keep track of it.
Okay.
Correct. And I didn't get the name of who was speaking, but we will be doing the public notices to the abutters, and that will go out accordingly.
I'd like to stay in touch with it.
Yeah, it'll certainly be. I mean, if you keep your eyes open on the website, or if you just call in,
Okay. Any other questions from the audience? Okay. I mean, I'm satisfied based on my review of the submittal and Mr. Board's presentation. I'm pretty comfortable in closing the public hearing if there's a motion.
Say we do a negative determination.
Well, first of all, we file a motion to close the public hearing.
Let's close the public hearing for 602 South Street.
Okay, is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Is
I'll
there-
second that.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed to vote. All right, Mr. Board, in all likelihood, we will act on this evening. I want to thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you all very much.
Okay. We have a couple of other matters to take care of. Gemma, you here for any specific reason? Oh, you're welcome.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
You may recall that we had gone out to 476 Leicester Street, which is a solar farm.
Yep.
And we couldn't, I'm sorry, we did act on one of the requests for certificate of compliance, but there's another one too.
I didn't go out there, so I'm
But
gonna
what Tom did, I did, Jesse did.
rely
although
on
he
you guys
came up-
to,
Yeah, well, we don't steer you
I
wrong,
have
do we?
faith. I
You have faith? Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm relieved. So therefore, is there a motion for 476 Leicester Street?
Make a motion, we issue the certificate of compliance for 476 Leicester Street.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. And then for 9 St. Mark Street, we all went out there. Have you taken care of that issue with your car?
I did,
That's good.
yes. Yes, I have.
I'm glad.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Good, and I beat my husband. It was good.
So is there a motion for 9 St. Mark Street?
All right, say we issue a certificate of compliance for 9 St. Mark's.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, it's a vote. Okay. With respect to 602 Southbridge Street, is there a motion?
I move to issue a negative determination for 602 Southbridge Street.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Okay. We have meeting minutes too, if you want to take some time.
After minutes, I just want to ask one thing.
Sure.
Just giving you all fair warning, so you don't get too excited about it. It's quick.
Okay.
Giddy.
I'll steal myself. For the meeting minutes of November 8th, I have no changes.
I move to accept the meeting minutes for Wednesday, November 8th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Okay. And then for December 13th.
December 13th,
Mhm.
bottom of the page, it says, there was a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 476 Leicester Street?
There were, actually, that project, there were two separate filings for that.
Oh, okay.
That's so when we granted the first one, and then Jesse brought it to our attention, or my attention, that there was also a second
Okay.
that had to be issued.
Gotcha.
Good catch, though.
I was confused.
So, yeah.
You know, and I think just when you do the meeting minutes for tonight's meeting, you may want to just indicate that there was a second, we had to.
Yeah, I can include the separate DEP numbers.
Yeah, that would be
Just
helpful,
to
I think.
distinguish them a little bit, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I don't have anything.
Yeah, I have no changes either. Is there a motion?
I move to accept the meeting minutes of December 13th, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote. I did have one question, though. We issued a positive determination of applicability for Vinyl Street. Has there been any response?
Yeah, so I did. I talked to Andrew from Little Diggers, and he was inquiring as to what you guys were likely to want to see.
Not a
And-
job.
Yeah, I did reiterate that. Well, what I said to him was, I mean, you guys are putting in what, like 26 duplexes? They're gonna want to see a plan in similar detail to like what happened with 7 Marion Ave. Because I don't know if you remember that one where Wayne kind of helped them out. They initially submitted that kind of half-baked application,
Half-baked, one
Half-baked?
way to describe it.
Yeah, it is not very
That's the
complete.
kind
Yeah,
of way of saying it.
they're always interesting.
Doesn't that project need planning board review?
It certainly will, yeah. I think most people try to get through conservation first, 'cause
Okay.
typically it's a little bit quicker,
I mean,
but...
they're gonna have to hire a professional to do it.
Oh, they're gonna have to do,
You can't
yeah.
Mickey Mouse this stuff.
No, I
The
know.
whole thing, everything.
You know, it's
I
all
know.
right.
And apparently, yeah. And from when I first went there, I remember asking the guy on the excavator, and he was saying, I don't know, I'm assuming he was referring to, Timothy Johnson, who had actually submitted that RDA. He's like, yeah, he's like this huge developer, like he does it all the time. I don't know.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they'll get there eventually. We'll
Maybe.
keep our eyes open.
All right, I will. So, you had a question.
Oh, I was just gonna, did we, contact the place next to
I did. I
Herb
left
Chambers, by the way,
a
about the couches?
I left a voicemail on the number that I could find online. I didn't end up hearing anything back yet. I only called them on Monday.
I think the address is actually like
No.
14 St. Mark Street.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
It's not
Wasn't
a lot,
Herb
it's
Chambers,
14
was
is
that other
the
place.
adjacent.
Oh, yeah, we're on St. Mark's, sorry. I
And-
totally.
And I think it's a moving company, right?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So maybe a formal letter might get their attention.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
all
that's not a bad idea.
Okay, I
Yeah.
can draft something I can send to you.
Yeah.
I'd
That
say
sounds
we
good.
have Mike do that.
He's definitely a little better.
Should I make
at,
a motion on that, or can you just do it?
Nah.
Okay, all right,
I'll
cool.
take
All
care of
right,
it.
all right.
I'll
Go
send a
ahead.
letter.
All right, good.
Is there anything else?
It's a wrap.
I say, I move to close the meeting.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Wow, that was fast. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No one ever opposes these. It's a vote. All right, everyone, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Rest of your
Bye,
evening.
Joe.
This conference has